Who is with Vinny Fiorenza? There's a lot he doesn't know. There's a lot he wants to know. This is a podcast where he tries to learn from people who know things he doesn't. He'll be focusing on people from the worlds of business, entertainment, and the arts. His guests are people he finds fascinating and that he believes will bring value to others. Join him on the journey on finding out who is.
The producers were like, we really think you guys are perfect for America's Got Talent. And I knew they were serious about us because they offered to fly us into the audition. By the next tour, there were companies in China trying to outbid each other for my show. 75 shows in 60 cities, 90 days.
We are here with the one and only Alonzo. We're going to get into it, learn a little bit about him and everything that you do. Let's start it off how I usually start off the show. Tell the audience where you're from.
I am from a small town near Chicago called Rockford, Illinois. And I've been in Los Angeles for 8 years.
What does being from Rockford mean to you, especially taking that out here with you?
Mm-hmm. So Rockford was featured in Forbes as the 9th most dangerous city in America.
Get out of here.
And it's crazy because, there's thousands and thousands of cities. And so to think of a list of the top 10 and to put a city as the 9th most dangerous, it was pretty interesting. So the reason why is because it has the same amount of crime as Chicago, but it's a smaller population.
So per capita?
Yeah. So, dude, it was interesting because I never really felt in danger growing up.
Yeah.
But it was around me, and let's just say I've lost a lot of people. And There are a lot of people that, have gone on, and it's just because, I guess, of the environment that we grew up in.
Wow.
So bringing that to LA with me, it just means that I made it out,
Yeah, we're happy to have you here and happy that you're able to do your art over here and rocking out, man. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. You're right about the statistic thing called number 9. Wow. Jeez.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
like to
wild.
Think the ninth most dangerous house. And I never felt like I was about to die every day.
Yeah, no, but
it's
interesting. But I guess it was around. But when you think about back then, how do you think your classmates would describe you? It's young.
Yeah, so depends on which level of school. Because in my elementary years, I was like battling with anger management and depression and really in a lot of trouble. And then I kind of came into the arts in middle school and things started to turn. And so like by the end of middle school and of course in high school, I'm all through the yearbook as most likely to succeed, most talented person. I was winning all the talent shows. I was the person that everyone saw would go far. So just depends on when you ask. Because like elementary, I was probably, they were like, he's going to end up in jail. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think your family growing up and the people around you, like, did they have an influence on you becoming an artist in any way?
Yeah. My grandfather was a musician. He played several instruments. He was in a band. He would tour.
Nice.
And he had the coolest studio in the basement of his home. He lived on the south side of Chicago in Hyde Park, not far from where the Obamas lived.
Oh, wow.
And every time I would go over his house, I would go down into the basement. It was like a cave. The walls were still like a stone, and he had drums and guitars and everything down there. And then he passed that gift to his son, which is my uncle, my mom's youngest brother, who was a musician. And
there's a lot of things.
Yeah,
great.
But the thing is that I started dancing first. And so I never really got the chance to move into music until later in my life. And being able to see them moving into the music business, it always inspired me.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. So you mentioned dancing. When was your first performance?
My first
Yeah.
performance.
Tell us about that.
So there's two that I like to acknowledge. Technically my first performance was this really weird moment in elementary school. Do you remember the song when they be like I was blue, da boo dee da boo da 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 dee da da da. What, I'm blue?
Yeah, I think so.
So long story short, they played that song when I was in like first or second grade, and we were just supposed to stand up there. We were all supposed to wear blue, and I was committed, and I was doing my thing. But I always say that my first real performance was, and this is on YouTube. It was 2007, Eisenhower Middle School. I did an impersonation of Michael Jackson, and stole the night. It was in front of the whole school, and that was the moment where everyone was like, "He's going somewhere." Yeah.
And you were probably hooked too.
Dude, I thought I was Michael Jackson. I only had one piece of hair that I had stole from my mom's drawer, and I put it in a hat. Because, he always had the little thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a whole wig, but I put a little piece of hair over my eye with the hat down, and I thought I was Michael Jackson.
Tell us about, like, life as a dancer, young. Like, when were you taking classes, or was it, like, informal? Like, how, tell us about it all.
So, I mean, growing up in urban communities, the biggest thing is that we don't always have the money to do things like that.
Yeah.
So my mom definitely couldn't afford dance classes, but what I did have was the talent to fight for scholarships.
Wow.
And dance came into my life right around that, right after that Michael Jackson moment. I had always inclined toward it, but I wasn't sure if I really wanted to pursue it until I had that big moment where I got my first standing ovation, and I really felt like seen and accepted for the first time in my life. But dance came into my life when I was battling anger, and it was the way that I could release that emotion. Like, I had struggled with so much anger and depression as a kid, and for some reason I would feel better after, like, because I wasn't into like nothing against like ballet and stuff, but I was more into like hip hop and going hard. And so when I would like dance like that, I could release my anger. Yeah. And so that's how dance came into my life.
Dance it out.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
What age frame was that, just to get like a reference, like after the Michael Jackson thing? You could start getting scholarships, give or take.
So we think elementary school, in a lot of trouble, getting suspended, lots of fighting, just a whole thing. Then I moved to middle school, 6th grade, I'm still having the same struggles. 7th grade, I do that talent show. My grades start to go up because now I'm like releasing my emotions. And I was becoming popular. So then people are like, I just felt like the need to behave more because people knew me. And then so 8th grade, by then I'm completely decided that I want to be a dancer. And that's when I decide to go to the this famous arts program in Rockford called the Kappa program. And so I went to the Creative and Performing Arts program at Auburn High School, which is where Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child comes from.
Wow.
Fred Van Vliet, he went there.
The basketball player?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I was like, I'm trying to do the math.
Fred
That's
Van
great.
Vliet, the basketball
Raptors.
player.
That's great.
And just a lot of talent has come out of this school, and I decided to go there. And I would say 9th grade on is when I was just like, it's happening. Nice. And I started the dance crew sophomore year.
Tell us about the first dance crew and what it led to.
So up until this point, I am this solo dancer. Everyone knows me as the Michael Jackson impersonator guy. And then 9th grade, I want to say that was the year the Forbes thing came out about Rockford.
Got it.
And so, my process of thinking was, if this is the ninth most dangerous city in America, let me give the youth something positive to do. And I know how much the arts changed my life, so I decided to start a dance crew
Wow.
that would give young kids a place to go, and it was my way of taking youth off the streets and giving them something positive
That's
to
awesome,
do.
man.
And so sophomore year, I started the dance crew, and from there, we just really we would always just do talent shows nonstop, and I would do so many talent shows, and we would win every year. And I want to say the junior year, no, I won freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So senior year, they told me I couldn't compete for the talent show, and I
too good.
Yeah, you need to be a judge, Alonzo,
Yeah.
because you take the talent show every year. And long story short, that's how I started the dance crew, Fatally Unique. And we went on to America's Got Talent.
Well, just a reference, 'cause we'll hop into both, but was America's Got Talent first or the 106 in Park?
So 106 in Park was first,
Oh,
2009 and 10.
Yeah, tell us about hop into that a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah,
so
please.
oh wow. So no. 106 in Park, they used to have this this talent show called Wild Out Wednesday. And they would have dance crews and musicians, and I forget how we got on. I think this was during the time where you had to like mail stuff to submit. So I think I sent in like a tape or something
probably clipping out of a magazine.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Wow. Nope. I ain't old. So we sent in a tape. Wild Out Wednesday was interested. Since we were pretty much poor, we would stand on the corners and fundraise money. And when we raised the money, I would charter a bus and buy our costumes and get us to New York.
As a kid, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's great.
And I took all of us from New York. I was a kid doing this, which was pretty amazing. And we went to Wild Out Wednesday. We won 2 years in a row. And the producers of America's Got Talent saw that.
Wow.
And they reached out to me, and the producers were like, we really think you guys are perfect for America's Got Talent. And I knew they were serious about us because they offered to fly us into the audition.
What?
Right. No one ever offers to fly you into the audition.
Yeah, people are waiting 6 hours to maybe get a chance.
Exactly. But the thing was if they didn't, we wouldn't have been there because the audition was in Minneapolis.
Oh,
and
wow.
there was just no way.
Hike.
That I would risk us getting somewhere for an audition. And so long story short, we flew all the way to Minneapolis, or they flew us. And I think they already had in their mind that
these guys are going to be part of the next.
So we were just going to film. Feels like to me the fake audition.
Yeah.
Because they knew they wanted us, and
What was it like? Even that fake audition. What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh.
Because that's probably. Was that like your? I don't know. It was definitely in front of a crowd, right?
Yeah, it was a live audition in front of the judges. Who
was judging at that time? Do you remember?
There was Pierce Morgan, Sharon Osbourne, and Howie Mandel.
Oh, because okay.
Yeah,
cool,
this was season 6 of America's Got Talent. They're on season 14 now.
Yeah. I didn't start watching until after that, to be honest.
Yeah, these were the early years. But it was the judges' rounds, which is also a few auditions in.
Yeah.
Because typically for these TV shows, you do auditions for the producers and the casting directors, and at some point, they determine whether or not they want you to audition for the judges. And long story short, they basically made us pass the producers' auditions.
Yeah.
Put us straight in front of the judges. And it was a beautiful experience, just to be on TV and to be feeling like we were getting closer to our dream. And we were filling a role, you know, like a lot of these TV shows.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Yeah, they have their...
Did you know it at the time as a kid?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Not at all. But I
great.
look back, I'm like, we were definitely... Because they had the
whatever.
dance crews of the privileged kids, and their moms been putting them in dance classes since they were kids.
There's probably an international one that was in America or something.
Exactly. We were the dance crew from the hood. And the kids that just, you know... made it happen.
Yeah, but obviously the talent was truly there.
The talent was there. And we had something deeper to fight for. So we danced really hard, and you could feel our passion on the stage.
I'm sure it was an amazing story too. Like I'm sure the framing of it was great.
Yeah.
So I know you spent a lot of time overseas too. I want to jump into that a little bit if you're cool with that. But you overseas, you were in China.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience and what was it for?
Imagine us on America's Got Talent. I'm talking to millions of people sitting in the interview. And one of the things that we would do is kind of really emphasize, you got to fight for your dreams. You got to fight for your dreams. They're no matter what you do, don't give up. Fight for your dreams. And I just remember us sitting on TV, and we're like, this is in front of millions of people. And I thought to myself, you're sitting here telling millions of people to fight for their dreams, and you're not pursuing your real dream. My real dream had always been to be a singer.
Yeah.
It just so happened that everyone knew me as a dancer, and then having started that dance crew and leading something that was making such a difference, I felt like it was my duty to be there for those kids. And so it involved me having to sit my dreams to the side just a little bit so that I could make sure that, you know, I could be the best leader possible to take these kids to pursue their dreams. And so long story short, on the show at that moment, I decided when this is over, it's time for me to pursue my dream. So we finished America's Got Talent. We toured for about a year, and I had already been singing a little bit, but not professionally. Yeah. But I always knew that I could sing. I would be singing at home, and it was really weird because I was still a little insecure, because anytime anyone would ask me could I sing, I would just be like, yeah, I can sing. And it'd be like, okay, sing me something. And of course, if you cannot breathe, you can't sing. And when you're nervous, you have no breath. Like, whenever we're nervous, we're like short of breath. And so long story short, I would try to sing for people, and they'd be like, no, just keep dancing. So long story short, I finally got the courage to pursue it. And at the time, I was searching on the internet for opportunities. And remember, you used to be able to look on Craigslist.
Yeah, I never did it myself, but I know what you mean, though.
You can't do it anymore because Craigslist is probably dangerous now. But back in these days, you could go to like the gigs section of Craigslist. And I looked actually in Los Angeles at the gigs section, and the ad said seeking singers and dancers for international tour. And so I immediately clicked that and sent my information in.
That easy.
It was like in February, bro. By May, I was already headed to my first tour in China and hired backup dancers. And that tour was a lot to throw together last minute. But from that one tour, by the next tour, there were companies in China trying to outbid each other for my show. And I went on to sell out 4 more tours, like singing and dancing.
How long was a specific tour?
So we would do, I want to say the breakdown was 75 shows in 60 cities, 90 days.
What?
Yeah. So 3-month tours.
Oh, you can handle anything.
Dude, it was, but I would be in China for like 5-6 months, because sometimes I would take a residency just before we go out on the road. I might be just in Shanghai performing for a month. And then we would go out on the road once the show was perfected. And yeah.
What was that experience like being dropped in a totally different culture, and even the language and things like that? Because that's more so my actual curiosity.
Yeah.
With things like that. Yeah.
Honestly, it was the scariest yet exciting thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
It was really scary because you could just imagine going to another country and just not knowing the language or the food or the this and that, and you have all these stereotypes in your head. Like my mom was like,
Yeah.
you know they be eating this and that, you know. I'm like, but I'm going. But I always had this like I guess willingness to jump and take leaps into things. And my family really didn't understand what the heck I was up to, but I just knew that I had a dream.
Wow.
And I jumped up and I went and I learned how to speak Chinese on stage really quickly. And of course, when you're just thrown into something, you kind of figure out how to survive. So I learned the language to be able to survive. And it had its ups and downs. I'm not going to lie. It was a very stressful, it had really, really rough moments too, but
I mean, you have to for that amount of time.
Yeah.
Amount of time commitment.
Yeah.
Totally what people expect of you. That's wild to even think about. But what were the fans like there? Or the audience telling like did you build a little fan base?
Yeah. So
Prince Alonzo, right?
Prince Alonzo was the stage name at the time. And I kind of I had this thing that I was going to win them over no matter what.
Yeah.
So when I first got there, honestly, it was hard to get their attention in the clubs because they have like the clubs in Asia, they're like they have these tables that they stand around and they play drinking games and this and that.
Okay.
So when a performer comes up, a lot of times they're not even paying attention. But sometimes when a performer that does catch their eye, they'll start to like turn around like, whoa, who's that?
Yeah.
And I think that they really didn't know what to expect from me, but I started to become really popular really fast because I was this singer that danced really well. And that's where the dance training came in handy.
Wow.
That I could really dance with my backup dancers. Like most singers, they can like hit a step with their backup dancers, but I would hit full routines with my backup dancers because I was a dancer first.
That's great. Yeah, so you pulled them in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do all that and then you become a singer yourself. How'd that translate to start your own artistry and you releasing music on your own?
Yeah.
When did you decide to pull that trigger?
Mm-hmm. So the thing with Asia or China is that, it's a communist country.
Uh-huh.
And so the reach is very limited. The government has Google blocked, YouTube blocked. You need a VPN to get on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because they have their own
What
YouTube.
years was this? What was the frame?
This was 2013 to 2017.
Gotcha.
2013 was my first tour. 2017, I want to say, was my last tour. And even though I was becoming really popular around the country of China, I was just discovering that the rest of the world knows nothing about me. And more importantly, my own country has no idea who I am. What I appreciated, though, was that China kind of served as boot camp. It kind of prepared me to be on the stage. And I was on the stage every night singing in crazy conditions. They didn't have smoking laws. So you would think that stage smoke, that was cigarette smoke going through the air.
Crazy.
But when I got to LA and decided to officially pursue music, I was ready and super strong. You know what I mean?
Well, I've seen you before. You're killer.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, I got prepared. It's so cool how life kind of prepares us for what's next.
Yeah. So, when did you choose to make the shift to start releasing your own stuff?
So my first single, I want to say, came out in 2018 or 2019.
Oh, right after.
Yeah. So I had stopped. I said, I'm not going back to China. And actually, the reason why I didn't want to go back was because there was some bad business going on, and I was like, I can't take this anymore. But I want to say once I got here, I started performing in the nightclubs in Los Angeles and started to kind of create a name for myself in the live music scene here in Los Angeles. And I met a producer named Eric Zane, who then produced my first album.
Tell us about that. Yeah. Let's hear
Yeah,
about
so
the album.
there was,
Enough, right? That was in it. Enough.
Yeah, Enough. I started the work on Enough in, I want to say it was 2018. I don't know when the first single was a song called Save or Your Medicine, and then the second single was Save Me From Myself. And long story short, I decided that I'm going to put this music out. But then we know what happened in March 2020. Everything shut down. And I kind of just decided to pause the project for a second. And then about a year after the pandemic was just, you know how there was a point where we were happy for the pandemic, and then like
that was brief.
Then eventually it started to drag.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this is dragging. I'm putting my album out. And so I released the album. It charted at 14 on iTunes, right under the Beatles.
At that time.
At that time,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's great. Congrats.
Yeah.
It's good company.
Yeah.
How would you describe the Alonzo brand?
So the Alonzo brand is multi-layered, which is something that I've had to accept over the years because I have so many talents and so many gifts. And I feel like a lot of times we're called to like choose a box and decide what is the thing that we are. But when you are a lot of things, you can't just choose one thing. So I just say I'm a man of many gifts. And at the forefront of that brand is always love and pure intention and just talent to the forefront. You know, there's no gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really good at everything that I do, and I own that.
I appreciate you sharing it in that way, because that's the purpose of this show, is to highlight people who aren't in one box and can do all the things that they
it's nothing wrong with
actually do all those things.
Yeah.
I like surrounding myself with those type of people. Speaking of you having all these talents, tell us, you're a certified medication.
Yes, medication.
Well, different phrase. Is that certified meditation coach? Tell us like how you got into that and like why as well.
Yeah, so as I was making this transition, I had been, we just think like the course of my life, I had struggled with these different things, but then I went into the arts to kind of heal these things. And then long story short, I come to a place in my life where I think I'm really thriving. I've been around the world. I've been on TV. I'm living in Los Angeles. And for some reason, I still wasn't feeling good. There was still a lot of things that were coming up for me that, when I wasn't on tour, I would be at home depressed. And I started to pursue meditation after being introduced to Justin Michael Williams. So Justin Michael Williams is a world-renowned meditation teacher, author. He's also an artist himself. He's Grammy nominated.
I gotta look into him now.
Yeah, super talented guy. And we met actually at a party in the Hills, just randomly, after singing at a Sayers Club in Hollywood. And he started to invite me to these events, and I just started to gravitate toward mindfulness and meditation. And after like 5 years of attending meditation retreats and reading books and people have always come to me for advice. Like
you were that guy anyways.
Yeah, I've always been a leader. I've always been the type of person that pursued healing. And so long story short, I decided at the beginning of 2023 to just become certified. And I'm a certified meditation teacher.
Well, congrats. What does that mean to you as an artist as well, like to be focused on meditation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. the first thing that I think that is perfect in this realm and bringing this work into my art is the fact that my music is now like much more conscious. My
Nice.
other music was me just trying to be cool and
Yeah.
sexy and trying to be an artist, but now my new music is very conscious. It comes from a spiritual place. You know, I've been able to tap into my intuition and really hear what I really want to say that can help people heal and feel their emotions. And so incorporating that into my music, and then of course I'm going to be taking people through meditations at the live shows, and now that I'm taking meditation clients, that's opening up more income for me to
Nice.
invest into the art. So it's all kind of
You
working
just
together.
took us through something before.
Yeah.
Before the show.
Yeah,
did
just a little
something.
minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. It was a healthy little experience. So I had a final question before my rapid fire. What's the status of mental health in the artist community? Like, what do you see? You're on the ground. You're boots on the ground. Like, how do you feel like current climate is with mental health for artists out here in LA?
Yeah, you know, I couldn't be more excited for people in general because there's this word called I want to say zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And a zeitgeist is like, it basically means the spirit of the times. So when we look through decades, we know that like in the 20s were about jazz, and the 60s people were fighting for their civil rights, and the 70s everybody was about peace and this and that. So when we look at the time that we're living in right now, there's a huge interest in the mindfulness healing world. And I think that it's one of those things that people kind of just get exposed to no matter what living in today's age, because everyone wants to feel good.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
And I mean, that is one good thing that came out of the pandemic, that we were forced to look at ourselves.
Yeah.
And so in terms of how I think the artist community is doing and their healing, honestly, I'm surrounded by people that are really trying to take care of themselves and doing the best that they can and setting boundaries and not saying yes to things that they want to say no to. And just like I'm constantly just surrounded by people that are just doing their absolute best to feel good. And that's really inspiring for me.
Well, it's great. It's great that you're able to not only see that but feel it and be able to actually take action on it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. On your side, there's for a rapid fire section. Are you ready?
What is rapid fire?
Nah. I'm just gonna ask questions, quicker answers.
All right.
So do you personally have a favorite music artist?
Not necessarily. I have favorites for different things.
Cool. All right. Do you have one that you want to throw out
So
there?
my favorite singer, she comes to mind immediately. A lot of people don't know who she is, but her name is Lynn Ramsey.
Okay.
She is like Whitney lives in her throat.
Cool. Do you have personally a favorite drink? It could be cocktail, not cocktail, doesn't matter.
Ooh, favorite drink? Water.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's
Yeah,
fun.
I drink a lot of water.
Do you have a favorite movie?
The Lion King.
Okay.
And I love The Wiz.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your zodiac sign?
I am a Pisces sun, a Libra moon, and a Cancer rising.
Yeah, really getting all the facts here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So, someone from history you'd love to perform for?
It's between Whitney and Michael.
Gotcha. Cool.
Ooh,
That's good.
man, yeah.
That hit you. Nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate this. This is great. I'm glad I got to know you a little bit better too. It was fun. It was fun.
Thank you, man.
I'd like to close it out here by letting you tell the audience what you have going on next and how people could connect with you.
Yeah, so you guys can find me on all platforms at Story of Alonzo. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. And I am officially accepting meditation students and clients.
Nice.
So there's a link on my Instagram that you can click to book a session with me. And new music is coming. And I'm really excited about that because I haven't released anything in 3 years.
Nice. It's time.
Yeah, it is time.
Long overdue. We need you out there.
Yes.
Cool. I appreciate you coming out here, man. This was
Thank you,
fun.
brother.
It was
Thank
a
you.
blast.
Thank you. Congratulations on
Thank
this.
you.
This is beautiful. And wow.
Cool.
Wow. Thank you.
Appreciate
The crew, everyone has been so beautiful.
Thank you.